Hey, welcome back to Check Your Leader TV, and today we're continuing with our play test of my homegrown rules for Western gunfighting. I'm Your Huckleberry. You can find part 1 by clicking on the link in the description below. In part 1 I've described some of the mechanics in regards to these rules and the background for this scenario. But we're now at the start of turn 4, and so we're going to continue from there. So now it's the start of turn 4, so we have to roll to see if the deputies arrive and the marshal. Now, as you know, on the last turn it was on a 6, but now it's a 5 or a 6. And we've rolled a 2, so the marshals still haven't arrived. So now we split the deck because we've dealt the cards. So now we have to roll, we split the player's deck. Okay, so bad guys first. Okay, 2. Not going to be hard for the good guys to beat, and they've got an ace. Okay, so good guys go first. There's only two gun fighters in the good guys team now, and they're going to play their first card on Zillman, and the bad guys are going to go with, well, Arkansas Green. So let's see. Zillman's got a jack, a king. Okay, so with that, Arkansas Green is first up. So we'll roll his 6 dice. Okay, 2 5s, a 4, a 1, a 3, and a 3. So a couple of aims, a move dice, a shooting dice, and two actions or reloads. Well, the first thing Arkansas Green's going to do is he's going to try and move to get into cover behind the wagon. He will tips, beside the wagon. That'll give him at least some light cover, because he's going to want to take out this Farmer McLean. So he -2 because of his wound. He only moves 1 inch. Okay, so that will get him just to the side of it here. It's not even light cover. He's just stepped over, so he's still going to be in the open. Unfortunately for him, he really needed something like a 5 or a 6. So he's going to aim once and then fire the shotgun. Oh, actually, first he needs to acquire, and he can't because he is behind cover, and he hasn't got a 2 to do any acquiring. He could use a 5, an action, and pull some of. He will. So he's going to use a 5, and he's going to pull some of the crates off here and build himself a little barricade. That should be a pretty straightforward action, but he is wounded, so I'm going to say it requires anything but a 1. Oh, so he's failed, but he has got 2 5s, so we'll try again. Anything but a 1, 2. Okay, blood gushing from his wound. He's managed to drag off some of these boxes and make himself a little barricade. Now, clearly, in any set of rules, you can't write a rule that covers every single circumstance. So the 5 is simply you're attempting an action, and between you and your opponent, you have to decide what is a fair score required on a D6 to achieve the task that the gunfighter is attempting to do. Okay, so now we're going to roll for Zillman with his serious wound and his unloaded Winchester. Well, he's got 3 6s. That's kind of handy. He's got 2 1s and a 3. Now, with a 3 6s, he could move and then start offering covering fire, or he could shoot. He could acquire. There's quite a lot of things he can do there. So what he's going to do is the first thing he's going to do is he's going to move, just so he can get line of sight onto that. So he's just got to pie him off. As long as he gets a 3 because of the serious wound, no. He's got another move, so he'll try again. No, he's really in a serious bit of bother. He can try again. It's cocked. No. Well, he's going to reload his weapon, and he'll discard the 6 and the 5. Sorry, the 6 and the 3. So this is where the initial initiative, cutting of the deck, matters. Because the good guys took the initiative, they have to declare who they're going to play a card on. Now, if they had passed and handed the initiative over to the bad guys would play a card, and then the good guys could decide, because they are outnumbered, to pass. But unfortunately, they can't. So they're going to have to play a card for Deputy Paul, which means the good guys have 2 to play, and they're going to use their second one on Wildcat Travis. So Travis has got a jack, Paul has got a 10. But Travis is going to roll his 6 dice now. What have we got over here? That's a 3. So lots of actions and no movement. So his horse just won't budge. This guy is just not interested in getting into the fight. He's not going to do anything with that. That's really is a useless roll for him. So that just leaves Paul rolling his dice. Okay, he's got a double 6. Okay, he's going to use that to go on to Overwatch. So he's now on Overwatch wherever he is. That's it. And so now we're going to roll our 6 dice for McCready. Okay, lots of movement, potentially. All right, well, he's going to go in and search that that building. So he's got 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 4. All right, so to that end, the first thing he needs to do is actually enter the building. So 1d6 of movement. That's cocked. 6. Okay, 6 inches will get him easily into and onto the first floor of this building. So he gets in there. There's nothing to see on the first floor. So now he's going to go up to the second floor. That's simply 1 dice. So he's going to use that. All right, now he goes up onto the second floor, and lo and behold, there's Deputy Paul in Overwatch. Now, Deputy Paul has, because he's on Overwatch, he now rolls 4 dice and to see what his actions are. He's got a shoot, and an aim, and an acquire. The acquire he doesn't need. It's point blank range, and he can shoot twice. So he can aim and fire, and then fire again, or he could just, because it's a sawn-off shotgun, he could fire twice, but only with 1 aim. So he's going to fire once with an aim, and then once instinctively. He's got a firing a shotgun at close range, which is +2. He's aiming, which is +3. He's at close range, which is +4, but he's shooting at a gunslinger, which is -1. So it's a +3 all up. So +3. He needs 8. Okay, so the first round is a hit. So he's got a hit on Mad Dog McCready. Let's see what the result of the hit is. It's a 6. So a 6 is a light wound, so he's now he's firing with a +2 because he doesn't have the bonus for the aim. Five, 6, 7. So he's missed. Okay, so he's fired once, got a hit, light wound. Second shot from the shotgun has missed. Maybe it was fired wild, who knows, but he's missed. At that range, well, it can happen. So that just leaves Mad Dog McCready now. Now he could shoot twice. And I think that's probably what he'll do. So let's go on with that. So that 3 is converted into a 4, and that'll leave 1 at the end of the day. So he's just going to fire twice at close range. So he's a gunslinger shooting. That's +2. He's at close range. That's another +1. So that's a grand total of +3. But he's got a light wound. So that's a -1. So it's a +2. So his first shot at +2. 8, 9, 10. That's a hit. Let's see what the result of that hit is. It's a 5, so that's a light wound. The second shot now is a miss, so it's a light wound. That just leaves him with a 1. Now he could essentially move into close combat. So Mad Dog has got a movement left, and he could close to hand-to-hand combat. However, Deputy Paul is unloaded, so rather than go hand-to-hand and have a 50-50 situation, he's just gonna forego the 1 because he's not gonna move anywhere. If his card comes up first, he gets the drop, he'll be able to plug Paul. If Paul gets the drop, Paul has to reload before he can shoot. And McCready could always duck back and just dive down that ladder there. So he's not going to do anything, so let's move on. Okay, so it's the end of turn 4, but before we finish, this fella here, the non-player character activates. All non-player character activate in the last turn. Or hang on, but is it him? We don't know. So we have to roll to see which non-player character is activated. And it's a 5. Now 5 is all the way down here. And it is one of the Brown brothers. Okay, so, yep, that's him, number 5. Now we roll to see what he does. Wow, he's got 3 6s, a 2, a 4, and, 2, a 5, and a 1. Okay, so what's he going to do? So the first thing he's going to do, he's going to move and try to get a line of sight onto 1 inch. Okay, so it gets him to there. Not enough. He'll go again. He only really needs another inch, which is all he's going to get. Okay, which gets him to there. Now that should give him line of sight, and it does. Okay, so he's got a line of sight down to Travis. Okay, so he's got a 6, a 5, a 6, and a 2. Well, he doesn't need to acquire because he's pretty obvious. So he can shoot, reload, and shoot. So that's what he's going to do. So it's long range for a musket, but not extreme. So it's over 12, but not more than 18. So he's going to shoot, reload, and shoot. If we're going to be hitting the horse or the gunfighter. So we roll a 4, 5, or 6. So he's shooting at the gunfighter, not the horse. 1, 2, or 3, it would have been the horse. 4, 5, or 6, it's the gunfighter. So he's shooting at the gunfighter. In his favour, he's not using an aim dice. He's shooting at a gunslinger, which is a -1. He's a non-player character shooting, so that's another -1, so it's -2. And he's firing at a long range, so it's -3. So it's -3 all up. So it's a -3, so he needs he needs an 11. He's rolled a 12, so he's hit Travis. Man, that is incredible shooting. Now we roll to see what the result of that hit is. An 8. That is going to be a serious wound, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, he did need a 12 to hit because there was also a -1 for shooting a guy who's mounted, and he had moved. So the only way he could get a hit was with a 12. Okay, so he's going to reload, and then he's going to fire again. Again, even though he has hit the target once, he still needs a 12 to hit. He's rolled a 10, so he gave it a good hard shove. So that's pretty good shooting, but it's a serious wound on Wildcat Travis. So he's marked with a smoke marker to show that he's unloaded. And now we go to this guy. So now we'll roll the dice for this guy. Okay, so first thing he's going to do is he's going to attempt to acquire Arkansas Green. So it's a -2 to acquire. He needs a 6 on 2d6, so he needs to roll 8 to acquire him. He's rolled 6. He's got a second acquire attempt. 6, no, you can't see him. So he's looked and he can't see. Well, he could use that 6. You could try again. This time he acquires the target. He's going to aim and fire. So, what are the modifiers? +1 for aiming and close range, so it's a +2. -1 for shooting at a gunslinger. -1 because he's a non-player character. Now -1 because the target moved. So it's a -1 all up. So -1 all up for here, shooting it here. So he needs a 9 on 2d6. And he's rolled 5. So he's fired and missed. And we mark him with some smoke because he's shot. So that ends turn 4. And now we're going to move on to turn 5. Seriously wounded gunslinger, a seriously wounded gunslinger, a lightly wounded gunslinger, a dead gunslinger. So that's the Yuma boys. The only person uninjured is the boss that they're trying to rescue. For the good guys, Zillman is seriously wounded, Pollard's dead, Paul is lightly wounded, and we've yet to see the marshal and the 2 deputies arrive. But there are 2 non-player characters involved now. Farmer McClellan and one of the Brown brothers. So let's move on to turn 5. So it's now the start of turn 5, which means the marshal and the deputies will arrive on a roll of 4. 6, okay, so they're now going to arrive. That means that the good guys deck will consist of 1 for the marshal, 2 for the marshal's deputies, and 2 for the deputies that are currently on table. So 5, and there are currently only 3 bad guys. Only 3 of the Yuma boys are on their feet. So they'll have 3 dice. 3 cards. So we've dealt 5 cards for the lawman, 3 cards for the Yuma boys. We cut the deck, bad guys first. Okay, they have a 2 of hearts and a 3 of diamonds for the good guys. So the lawman will go first. So I've decided to bring the marshal and his 2 deputies. That's Trey Clements, Deputy Grohl, Deputy Hawkins. They're coming straight down the road. Okay, so that's them. So we've placed them. Now we allocate cards. The lawmen are going with Deputy Paul, and the Yuma boys are going with Mad Dog McCready, because this one's going to be pretty critical. So Mad Dog has got an 8, which is equivalent to a 9, and Paul, he's got a queen. So Paul has got the drop. Now, that means McCready could buckle for dust. There's no, he can do that either when before the dice is rolled or after it. So he's going to wait to see what Paul's dice roll is. Okay, 1 shot, a reload. So he'll need to reload. He can fire. He could aim, fire, and fire again. So he could fire both barrels at Paul McCready here. McCready, for his part, he could buckle for dust, which means he could forego his turn and take a chance that he can get down that stairway and out of the building. But that still means that Paul could chase him using these movement dice and still get a shot. So he's just gonna take it on the chin and hope he survives. So Paul's gonna reload, aim and fire, and then depending on what happens at the end of that, he'll decide what he's going to do with these ones here. So Deputy Paul's got a +2 all up. He's got pluses for, he's going to fire both barrels at the same time. He's at close range, but he's got minuses for wounds and minuses for shooting at a gunslinger. So +2 all up. So he needs at least a 6 to hit on 2d6. And he's rolled an 8, so he's hit him. All right, so that is a hit. Now let's see what the result of that hit is. A 3 and a 1 is a 4. So a 4 result is an under fire marker. So he basically shot but hasn't wounded or hit McCready in any way, shape or form. But it's put an under fire marker on McCready, which will make his return fire a little bit less likely to strike home. So that leaves him with a 4. Now, our mate Paul, he does have a pistol. So what he can do is he can discard the shotgun and draw the pistol, which he will do. So now he's going to shoot with his pistol. He gets close range. He gets a close range bonus, but he doesn't have an aim dice. He's got a wound. He's shooting at a gunslinger. So I think it might be just a straight up roll. No positives, no negatives. So let's have a shot. So he needs an 8 to hit. And he's rolled a 7, so he's missed. So now it's McCready's phase. Okay, so here's McCready's roll in response. Okay, 3 6s, 3, 2 and a 5. That spells bad news for our man Paul. So he doesn't need to acquire, so the 2 is probably not going to be any use. He will use the 3 to aim, because he really wants to make sure he hits. So aim, fire, 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 and then reload at this stage. But if he dispatches the target on the first or second shot, then he can always use the 6, turn it to a 5 or a 1 for a move or something. But anyway, let's see what happens. So his pluses, he's got an aim dice as a +1. He's a gunslinger shooting, so that's a +2, that's a +3. He's at close range and he's a +4. Minuses, he has got a light wound and he's under fire. So all up, he's got a +2. Okay, so that first shot is a hit. And the result... Oh, that's... Okay, so that's killed him. So that first shot has killed Paul. Okay, so that leaves a 6, a 6 and a 5. So he used 1 6 to move to the boss to untie him. So now he's got a -1 to his movement for the light wound. Two, which means he moves 1 inch. So he's staggering towards the boss. Use the second 6 to move again. 3 inches, which is 2, which will get him into base contact, which leaves the 5. And he's going to attempt the skill, which is to untie the boss. So these are the skill tests you can set to is tailor-made for each individual scenario. And in this scenario, it's a +3. So it's a 3 and up to successfully untie someone. No modifiers for wounds. And he's rolled a 3. So that means he's untied Fucci. Now, because Fucci's been untied, he's now effectively a member of the gang. And because of that, we're going to have to draw a card from the in-play deck and move that into the Yuma Boys deck. So he can be activated because he has not been activated this turn. He has simply been untied. So with that, the Yuma Boys, the bad guys, they're going to play their card on Fucci. And he's got a 6, which because he's the boss, it's a +2. So that's an 8. And for the good guys, Zillman, and he's got a 3. So Fucci is the next to move. So let's roll his dice and see what he can do this turn. Okay, so 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so lots of movement, which he's going to use. So the first one he's going to use to just descend, go down 1 flight of stairs. So that will put him on the ground floor. The next one, he's going to exit the building and he will go 1 inch. So he's literally just stepped outside. He's got another movement dice, which he will use. And he goes 6. So 6 inches outside that door. Let's place him and see where he gets to. Okay, so from the door, from the porch, it's 6 inches to the horse. So he's actually made it to, I think that is McCready's horse. So he's run down and he's gone off to McCready's horse. Because obviously he's got plans to get on that horse and get out of Dodge. However, what he's got a 5, which is an action dice, an aim, and an acquire. Now to mount, it's not a skill action. It's simply a movement dice. So he needs a 1 or a 6 to mount. So that's as far as he's got now. He could use the 2 to attempt to acquire a target. But he'll probably just pass on all those. So he's not going to aim at anyone, and he's not going to acquire a target either. Okay, so that takes us over to Zillman. So now we're going to use Zillman's card and see what he does. Okay, so let's see what Zillman rolls here. Well, lots of action dice, a couple of shooting dice, and an aim. So he could, but he can't move. And where he's standing at the moment, he can't acquire anything either. So essentially, he can do nothing. Okay, so Arkansas, he has got a 5 of diamonds, and we're going to go with Deputy Grohl, and he's got a 6. They're both gunslingers. Grohl has the drop, so he will move first. Let's roll his dice to see what he does. He's mounted. Okay, he's got 1 movement dice. Lots of actions. So you could move, aim, fire, reload. So let's see what Deputy Grohl does. Okay, so we'll do the move for him first. So it's 1d6 plus 4 because he's mounted. 4, 4, so he's going to go 8 inches. Now he's coming on from the very edge of the table. So 8 inches gets him to that point there. So he has a range of 12 inches with a pistol. And so he's just short of being able to engage anyone. So really that's nothing else he can do there. That leaves us with Arkansas Green now. So we'll roll his dice and see what he gets. Okay, so he's got a 6, a 5, 2 5s, 2 4s, and a 3. So an aim, fire, reload, fire, reload. But he needs an acquire. So if he wants to shoot, this guy here. He's got a shotgun, and range for a shotgun, I think is 12 inches. It's 12 inches range. So let's have a look here. So it's over 6, so it's long range for a shotgun. But good news is he can fire both barrels. So he's got a 6 to acquire. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to see if he can acquire. If he can acquire this target, then he's good. If he doesn't, then he can't. So all up, it's a +1 for him to acquire that target. He needs a 6 on 2 dice, so a 5 will do it. He's rolled a 3, so he just can't see. And so he has got a couple of actions. He could pull down some more debris, some more boxes, and make a bit more of a barricade around him. So let's see if he can. Nope. No. So he hasn't been able to get any more boxes off that wagon to augment his barricade. So let's move on to the next Cowboys. For the Yuma boys, they're going to play a card on Travis, and we'll go with the Marshal. Okay, so the Marshal, he's got a 10, which is essentially, well, it's even the 8 straight up is beaten, so it beats the 8 straight up. So the Marshal is going to go first. We'll roll his 6 dice. All right, so he's got 2 movement dice there essentially. So let's roll them first, see how far he goes. We'll roll the first one. 6 and 4 is 10. So that's going to take him to there. Now that could get him in pistol range. Okay, so he's well within range to engage because he's got a rifle. Actually, he's got a pistol, but he's also got a rifle, so he can engage. But he needs to acquire him because he is in partial cover. So we'll use the 2 to try and acquire. So again, it's 2d6. He needs a 6 to acquire the target. Now he will have some minuses because he is moving. Let's have a look what he needs. So there's 2 negative modifiers working against him. One, he moved this turn, so there's the 1 for that, and partially obscured another 1. So normally he would require a 6, but in this case he's going to need 8 on 2d6. Oh, so close. He's rolled a 7, but he hasn't acquired him. He has got a 6, so he could try again. So he's going to try again, use the 6. And he hasn't acquired him. All right. So that just leaves him a 3 and a 3 and a 4, which he can't really use. So now we go on to Travis, good old Wildcat, with his very reluctant and difficult horse. But he's got plenty of movement this time. Well, the first thing he's going to do is use the 1 for movement. So it's a 6 plus 4. Sorry, a d6 plus 4, but he's rolled a 6. So that's going to take him 10 inches. So he will ride down to this tree line here. So he's got a 6, so he'll dismount from his horse. Okay, so that gets him to there. Now, visibility through woods or wooded terrain is 4 inches. So he does get a line of sight through here. And then he's got a clear line of sight. Once his vision passes through that wooded terrain, he can now see the marshal. So he's got clear line of sight to the marshal. And he's within rifle range. That means he can now basically engage the marshal. So he will aim, fire, reload, and then that 5 may be used as an action. But anyway, aim, fire, and reload. So let's sort out that. So the first thing we have to do, because he's shooting at someone who's mounted, is we have to determine if the shot will hit the horse or the rider. Okay, so he's rolled a 4, which means the shot is at the rider. And so now we go through our pluses and minuses for that. So Travis's pluses, he's got a +1 because he's using an aim dice. He's got another +2 for he's a gunslinger, so that's a +3 all up. And he's at close range for a rifle, which is another 1, so that's +4. But negatives, he moved and the target moved, so that's -1s for both of them, and he's seriously wounded. So it's +4, -4. So it's just a straight dice roll. He needs 8 to hit. And he's rolled a 10, so he does hit the target. And the result is 12. So he has killed the boss. Shot him clean off the horse. And poor old Marshal Clements has entered the fray just to be shot off his horse. And he's dead. That leaves him with just a 5, so he'll reload. He does have another action left, but there's really nothing for him to do there, so he'll just stay there. And now that just leaves the final good guy, which is Deputy Hawkins. So he'll roll his dice. Okay, plenty of movement, plenty of shooting, and plenty of acquiring if he needs it. But he'll do the movement first. So it's a +4. Oh, 6 plus 4 is 10. So that basically gets him up to where his boss was. So he's now there. He could move again. And I think he will. So he'll close the range. So he'll ride again this time. Who does he want to close with? Probably straight towards the boss. So 5 and 4 is 9 inches. Yep, that's got him right into the fray. So he's riding right up to that point there. All right, now at that point, he's not going to have to acquire the boss. So he can fire his shotgun at point blank range, but he doesn't have any reload dice. All right. So he's going to try and shoot Fucci. So it's a shotgun. He's not going to fire both barrels because he's going to shoot one barrel at him. If he doesn't dispatch him, he might fire the other one at him. So anyway, he's firing. He's got a shotgun at close range, which is +2, and he's a gunslinger. So that's +4 all up. He moved this turn, -1. Fucci moved this turn, minus another 1, so it's -2, and he's mounted, so -3. So it's a +1. So first discharge at him, he needs a 5 on 2d6. Sorry, a 7 on 2d6. He's rolled a 3, so he's missed with the first shot. He's going to shoot again. 4. So both barrels discharged, and he's missed with both of them. Bugger. So now we roll for any non-player characters that might appear on the table. A 5. Well, he's already on the table, so there's no other additional ones. So we have number 6 here, and I'm pretty sure this chap's number 5. Yeah. So now we roll. Now those guys we roll for. So we'll do number 6 first. Farmer McLean. Okay, that's his roll there. Yeah, it's Farmer Jim McClellan, not McLean. I don't know why I keep on calling him McLean. So he's going to reload, aim, because he's going to try and shoot Fucci, so he doesn't have to require him. So reload, aim, fire, reload, and then we'll see what happens next. So all up, he's got a -1 to hit because he's a +1 because he's got an aim dice, but he's shooting at long range and he's a non-player character. So normally an 8, so he needs a 9. He's rolled an 11, so he's hit Fucci. Okay, and the result for Fucci is a 10. All right, that's pretty bad. Fucci's down and with a serious wound, which means he's essentially he's unconscious. So every time his card's drawn, he has to roll to see if he actually gets back to up on his feet and regains conscious. But at this stage, he's down, seriously wounded. His final 5, he will reload. Yeah, that'll do. That just leaves this non-player character down here. And so we'll roll to see what he does. Okay, move. He can reload and he can shoot. All right, so we're going to reload, move, and fire. And then we'll decide what we're going to do those. So we'll move first. 5 inches. Now, from where he is, he can't really see the good old Travis, but he can see the horse. And given that the horse is his ability to get out of here, what he's going to do is he's going to shoot at the horse. So basically, it's a long-range shot, so it's -1. He's a non-player character, -2. He's moved -3, but he's shooting. There's no, yeah, so it's just -3. So he's going to shoot at the horse. So he would need normally an 8, 9, 10, 11. He's rolled a 9. So he's fired and missed. But he's going to reload with the other 6. And he could move again, so he will to close the range. And he'll move another 3 inches. And so that ends that turn. So that leaves for the Yuma boys, Wildcat Travis has got a wound. Fuchi's down, unconscious, seriously wounded. Arkansas Green, seriously wounded. McCready's still in the building, and he has got a light wound. And for the good guys, they have to do, they've got 1, 2, 3, out of a gang, a team of 6, so they're not at half strength, so they don't have to do a gang morale check. Okay, let's move on to the next turn. So here's the deck for the good guys, here's the deck for the bad guys. It's turn 6. Now we're going to split the deck. Bad guys first, they've got a 4, good guys got a 2, so the bad guys have the initiative. So they're going to start off playing their first card, and they're going to play with Fuchi. The good guys are going to pass this turn because they're outnumbered. So we'll just roll to see if Fuchi gets on his feet. For Fuchi to regain conscience, he needs a 5 or a 6. 4 close, so he's still down. So he is, that's his turn taken care of. Okay, so next, the bad guys are going to play a card on Wildcat Travis, and the good guys are going to go with Hawkins. Okay, so Travis is a 4, and Hawkins has got the ace, so Hawkins is going first. Okay, now he needs, what he needs more than anything, he needs a 5 to reload, or a 6 will do the trick. He's got a 5 and a 6. He's got, okay, that's a good roll for him. So he can reload. He'll dismount. Then he'll aim. And then fire both barrels. And hope to end it there and then. Actually, he's going to fire each barrel in turn, so he'll fire just one barrel. But even with just one barrel, close range is a +2. He's a gunslinger, that's another +2. So that's +4. And then he's minuses, he's got -1, so it's a +3. That's easily a hit because he rolled an 11. What's the effect? That is a serious wound, which 2 serious wounds, and that kills Fuchi, and that is game. Now obviously I could play on, but the goal of this scenario for the Yuma boys is to get Fuchi out of, get him away from being hauled off by the marshal. Now I want to note here, I did make some mistakes in the playthrough of these rules, even though they're my own rules. I did miss a couple of modifiers, for example, when going through the roll to hit table. But I can also tell you that since watching the playthrough, those mistakes didn't have any actual bearing on whether or not the target was hit or not anyway. But just goes to show, when you're playing solo, you're videoing and you're narrating the whole thing at the same time, you will miss things. So that pretty much wraps up this play test. A couple of things I'm not 100% happy with yet. Predominantly I'm talking about shooting at mounted cowboys, and also shooting at just livestock in general, because sometimes it's worthwhile to, as cruel as it sounds, is to shoot a cowboy's horse to prevent him riding off. So we're going to wrap it up there, and that's playtest of I'm Your Huckleberry. And if you're interested in a copy of the rules, you want to have a bit of a playtest yourself, just get in touch with me via email. You'll see my email address in the description below. Other than that, that's it for today. And that's it for this playtest of I'm Your Huckleberry. Catch you later. You look away.